welcome to the Made in Africa podcast. I'm your host, Kemeshi Samuel, and believe it or not, we have in the studio here with us Douglas Kendyson, CEO and co-founder of Selar. Welcome, Douglas.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me, Samuel.
Thank
I'm
you for
very
doing
glad
this
that
with us.
we could finally do this.
Right. Likewise. Apologies for the delay as well.
No, it's fine. By the way, we're wearing hats. Although the reason why I'm wearing a hat
Yes.
today is because my hair is very rough.
Okay, so
And
Loki, I'm wearing a hat because we had a shoot just now.
Okay.
And my hair is also bad.
Like my hair is like rough, and I'm just like, yeah. So this is the best I could do to cover it.
I don't know, it works actually. It's giving Ote. If I'm not wrong, it's giving Ote vibes. But yeah, I like that we are in sync on
Yes.
that. So can we go into it?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I like to ask this question first to understand if the guests' childhood and the environment they grew up in sort of like influenced what they are doing currently.
Okay.
So would you say your environment had an influence on you being an entrepreneur and the founder now?
I'm glad that you asked that question now. I feel like now in my life, I feel like I've done a lot of like reflecting. So I feel like now I have an answer for that, which is it did, but I think I don't know if it's not in a like tech way. I think my mom is very busy by nature. And that's even putting it very lightly.
Yeah.
She was very entrepreneurial.
Okay.
She was working 24/7. And I think that definitely is, I think like her work ethic has always been like insane. And I think that definitely, like now that I'm older, I realize just how much I take after her and just like doing too much.
Okay. I think that makes so much sense.
Yes.
So, but for school,
Okay.
now we have, especially in Nigeria, where we grew up, like for me,
I grew up in
at
Nigeria
one point in time, I wanted to be a pilot.
Okay.
And then my dad came home from work one of the days and he brought this gigantic book, Health Biology. So it was about prehistoric animals.
Okay.
And after going through that, I was like, okay, now I want to be an archaeologist.
Okay.
So I've had this cycle, and then what I'm doing now was never on my radar.
Okay.
So
What did you study?
business admin.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then now I'm doing
And now you're doing
entrepreneurship
this.
and
you're doing this
content
well.
creation. Thank you very much. So growing up, what did you want to be as an adult?
Interesting. I don't think it did change a bit.
Yeah.
So I think I used to be very artsy in primary school. So I wanted to do architecture.
Oh,
I used to draw a lot, and it was very interesting because like I used to draw a lot in primary school. I used to like then I got enrolled. The school I went to in GS1, they didn't have like fine arts.
Okay, wow.
So like just in like a space of like 1 year, that like artsiness died. I think I moved to like a boarding school in GS2 to like SS3, and there was fine art and all of that. But like I feel like my passion for that died.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to do like architecture just because I loved buildings. But when it was time for like university, I was like asking around, and somebody told me wrongly, now I know, that like, oh, architects don't like have jobs. So like,
wow,
you're better off being like a civil engineer. And which is this. By the way, this is funny as hell because my sister is doing her master's in architecture right now.
Oh my goodness.
But so I eventually enrolled with like civil engineering. But by like I think my second year, I had been doing a lot of like computer stuff by that time, and I really wanted to change. And I called my mom like, "Hey, I think I want to change to like computer engineering." And like my mom started crying. She was like, "Oh, don't do it, blah blah blah." So like I was just like, I'm gonna do the 5 year. I'm gonna do my time.
Did she like give you a reason for her not wanting you to switch?
I think she was probably she was just like, what is this? And there was no like very clear reason. I think it was probably just fear.
Okay.
And like, what is like, why do you want to change? I don't even think that's an idea that her mind could like accommodate like someone changing their like major or something.
Why? That's like a big like life decision.
Yeah, I guess it just felt like this doesn't make sense. So eventually that didn't happen.
Okay.
the funny thing is, like, I did finish, like, I was very close to I got my 2-1.
Yes.
And I have never even picked up my certificates. When I
Wow.
graduated in 2016, like, till now.
Yeah.
But I mean, we graduated.
I
so-
mean, okay, so before we even come to Selar, between 2016 and when Selar came to be, who was Douglas Kendyson after school?
Interestingly, like, I graduated in 2016
Yeah.
and Selar started in 2016.
Oh, I did not know that.
No.
Wow,
So-
nice.
No, but there was, like, somebody, like, slightly before. So,
Okay.
like, I think I learned to code in my 300 level. So
Yeah.
maybe that's 2013, I
Okay.
think. And then I was doing a lot of, like, freelance work.
Yeah.
And in my 400 level, I wanted to build, like, a smart school solution. Or I
Okay.
did build a smart school
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah.
That was such a thing at the time. I feel like now a lot of people, at the time, it wasn't revolutionary, but, like, I think a lot of people were adopting at the time.
Okay.
And I really built, like, a really robust solution, tried to pitch it to a lot of schools. The only person that we signed up as a client
Yeah.
was, like, like a childhood friend's, like, mom
Okay.
that ran a school,
Yeah.
and then she just let us in, and that was our first client. But then that was also just a very stressful process. But then the thing is, we tried to pitch, like, so many other schools, and this is in Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were, like, telling us no, just ignoring, and then I just realized that, like, there's too much. Do you guys cuss here?
Ah, yeah, you can.
Okay. I might not, but, like, I might keep it classy. But I realized that school bureaucracy is just insane, and, like, I don't have the connections for this.
Oh, wow.
So kind of just park that.
All right. Do you think it would have been different in Lagos? I mean, in terms
No,
of schools here being somewhat forward thinking.
We tried in Lagos, actually. So at the time, my auntie has always lived in Lagos.
Yeah.
So, like, I schooled in CU.
Okay.
So I used to go to a house. Her house was at the time they lived at Okota.
Yeah.
Right? Okota. Yes. They lived at Okota. And so, like, we did try to do some, like, pitching in Lagos, but it was just such a very different terrain. And we were struggling with schools that we got intros to go into.
Okay.
Schools that we couldn't even get into were just, like, a whole nightmare. And then I just knew. But then I think I had a very just clear understanding that this is a bureaucracy business.
Yeah.
This is a business where you have to know the person, know the principal. And even when you know people, that's not even a guarantee that that's going to work out.
Right.
And it just felt like something I couldn't take on. And so that died. So that died in my 500 level.
So at what point did Selar start to take shape?
So I graduated in August, I think.
Okay.
And I graduated in July. June. I think it's June. I graduated in June, and then I got a job at Paystack by August 2016. And then the idea for Selar sort of came up while I was working at Paystack. And then we built, like, a prototype for it in October 2016.
Okay.
So that's very much just, like, fresh out of school, fresh working experience. I've done a lot of freelance work. I've built a lot of products for, like, different clients at that time. So, and I guess I've always just been, like, a business person, like, interested in the business so, like, I'm building things, but so the beauty of, like, how I learned to code was I learned to code from two very money-driven people.
Okay.
And that literally is the best gift that I think I could get as a developer.
Yeah.
Because from day one of writing code, I was always thinking about money.
Which is unconventional because a lot of developers just want to code, except in Nigeria.
No. I think a lot of developers just want to code. And I think even in Nigeria too, like, it's also a big thing where people just want to code. But my mom has always been entrepreneurial. I've always seen that in action.
Yeah.
I got to learn to write code from two people that, like, I started to learn to code in August 2013, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
I got a job by December.
Wow.
That was paying me like $50K to, like, build stuff. And I was doing stuff for, like, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just because, like, oh, I'm that smart. It was just because I did a business while I was in, but like while I was in, like, 100 level, I started doing things for money. So I guess money was on my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
But then I'm also, the beauty is I guess I've been blessed with like, I am an obsessive person
Okay.
by nature.
Okay.
And so I never had to like struggle with that like thing where, oh, you're too money obsessed and then you're not doing like good work, because I'm already just obsessed about doing
Yes,
work
yes,
and good
yes.
work in
That makes
general.
perfect sense.
So that really
Yeah,
helped.
that makes perfect
It
sense.
just helped that like, oh, I cared about money, and with every turn I was thinking about money,
Yeah,
while I was also really thinking about like doing really good
doing
work.
great work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Seller had formed while you were still at Paystack.
Yes.
At what point did you think maybe it's time to go full time with this?
Oh, almost like 5 years after.
Wow. So you were juggling both.
So
That was it.
I
That's interesting.
I changed my job like 4 times.
Okay.
So
While
because
still doing Seller.
yeah, while still doing seller,
Wow.
and then I only just got full time. So I was at Paysack for like almost a year.
Yeah.
Then I was at Flutterwave for almost a year.
Okay.
Then I got a job in Dubai, and then I moved to Dubai, and I was there for. Then I was at a job for like 1 year, 3 months.
Okay.
Then I was at my fourth job, for another like 1 year, and then Seller took off in 2020.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I kind of just
Yeah.
made like I think I'd had it from 2016 to
Yeah.
2019, end of 2019, and I thought to myself that like, wait, this is 4 years now. Let's like,
Let's double down.
if it's gonna work, it's
Yeah.
gonna work. If it's not gonna work, let's park it. Because I mean, I'd been consistently like iterating the product for 3 years, like speaking to customers,
Yeah.
doing things, working on things. So by 2020, I think because of
Yeah.
COVID and a few other things, like it took off.
Took off, yeah.
And
'Cause
then, so by
everyone was like,
2021, I knew that. So the thing is, by the end of 2020, I wanted to die, because like I was doing a full time job, and then I was doing a lot with Seller,
yes,
and
with
like
Seller,
it
it was a
was
lot.
too much. And when I decided to quit was just when I knew I couldn't do both anymore.
Fantastic. So you're here to share how you conceived the idea of Seller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was at the time I worked at Paystack. I used to do technical support, and then I also did like normal support at some point,
Yeah.
and built a bunch of integrations. But I used to get a lot of requests from people that were like, "Oh, like we want to sell stuff online." And so at the time, Paystack only supported like registered businesses.
Okay.
This is the first year they were out,
Yeah.
and people also just didn't have the it was going to cost a lot to build a website. So we just wanted to make like a small prototype. I think the first version of Selar was heavily like Gumroad.
Okay.
And so that was what we did.
Fantastic. Now you've left Paystack and you're doing Seller full time.
Yes.
What changed, would you say? I know you said that it was hard juggling both, but after you dropped the previous employment, would you say that sort of like gave you this thinking of we better make this work?
No,
Or we're in the fire? Kind of.
not really.
Okay.
So at the time I decided to quit to go
Yeah.
full time. So this is 2021. By the way, I just realized that like I'm just saying a lot of like and stuff, and now I'm like so conscious, and I'm thinking we're going to try to practice this life. But anyway,
No, but it
so
works.
by the time I quit my full job, my last full time job. So this is in Abu Dhabi. Anyway, I think I had saved almost like 20K
Okay.
dollars
Yeah.
at the time, and I did have the option to stay back in Dubai.
All right.
But then I think I knew that like if I stay in Dubai, that money is gonna burn in like 4 months. And if I move back to Lagos, at least I can buy myself a runway of. And by the way, this is not like money spent on the business. It's
Yeah.
just, oh, I leave a certain kind of life that I would love to continue. Like I've worked so hard over the years.
Right.
This is the kind of life I'm accustomed to. So it wasn't like money that
Yes.
so not a dime of that money went to Seller.
Seller,
It was just
wow.
like my personal
Yeah,
living
yeah,
expenses.
yeah.
And so then I decided to move back to Lagos in 2021.
Okay.
And I guess I never really that period was filled with a lot of anxiety,
Yeah.
but it wasn't even anxiety like, oh, I have to make this work or else I'm screwed. Because in my mind, I just thought, I'm a good engineer. Like, I will
Right.
find a
I can
job.
always.
I will always find a
Now
job.
that's legit bragging rights there.
No, but like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I will find a job. I have a ton of
Yeah.
experience. I know I can do good work. But I did just have a lot of anxiety because you've gotten something so far,
Yeah.
and I really just wanted to make it work,
Yeah.
just for making it work sake, actually.
And I like that you mentioned that because we find that some founders get very emotionally attached to their business.
Yeah.
And when they've pivoted maybe a couple times and it's still not working, they find it hard to like move on to something else. Do you think there's a place you get to where you can say for sure that this thing is not going to work? Or do you encourage founders to keep grinding and eventually it would click? Like, where do you stop? Where do you know that you've reached the end of the road?
That's a very interesting question because I don't even know how to answer that. I don't know how to answer that because for me, I think I wanted to stop just because I was tired of putting in work. That probably would have, that was my, I think that was probably going to be my metric for stopping.
Yeah.
I was tired of putting in the work and I felt like maybe the work isn't commensurate with the results that I'm getting.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think I'm doing it for me.
Right.
And like, I'm not doing this because of anybody. I'm not doing it's my time, it's
Yes.
my energy.
Yes.
And do I still like doing this? That's exactly it. So like, if I stop liking, because I did keep iterating this product, building new things, blah, blah, blah. And that's just because I was enjoying, I was having a good time. Or I
So when
was
you
happy
stop
to do
enjoying it,
When I stop enjoying it,
that should be the time to wrap it up.
I don't think that's what everybody should do.
Okay.
I think that's my personal choice because, and I think it is very helpful and it's easy for me to make that choice just because I never needed Selar to eat.
Okay. That makes sense.
All the time in which I was building Selar till I went full time, even till 2 years after I got full time, I still wasn't dependent on Selar to eat. All the time I had a job, my job was paying me really well, all the different jobs I've had. A year after I went full time, Selar was still not paying me. Selar probably started paying me in late 2022.
Wow.
And it was even still paying me peanuts then. And maybe it was like 2023 that I started getting like money that I could actually live on. So it was just always like, do I like what I'm doing? And am I happy to keep doing it? Just because the numbers, if I was looking at like the numbers were always bad from like 2016 to 2020.
Okay.
But then again, it's because it's on my time and it's on my terms. I don't care if the number is not if I'm not 10x.
And because you've not raised, so there was no pressure from investors as well.
Nobody's gonna stress me.
Exactly. That makes perfect
so
sense. Speaking of numbers,
Okay.
last year, Selar paid out about $9 billion to create 9 billion naira to creators last year, which is fantastic. What? How did that make you feel?
I feel like when the stats eventually came out this year, I feel like I was not in a good place. So like I did not even because like
you did not really celebrate it.
I didn't celebrate it a lot.
Wow.
And I know because the tweet that I put out was like maybe 4 words or something. Just because. And the thing is, I thought about it like, oh, I'm not feeling really good right now in this moment. Just like life and personal stuff. And I remember thinking that like, oh, I would like to like write an epistle about this. Like not an epistle, but like maybe like a thread.
Exactly,
like, you know,
makes sense,
like give a few words. Like in the previous year, I did that.
Yeah.
And this year, when it did come out, like, I was just like, see, I don't have time. I don't have any words to give right now. But I'm past that now.
Yeah.
So I think I am very glad. I'm glad that we can do this I'm glad I get to do like things that I care about. I'm glad that I get to work with people that I'm really happy about right now. And we're just like eating. Like, and I mean, not eating, like,
I guess no, I
we're
totally get
eating.
you.
Yeah. And it's nice because people always want to do things that are cool. People always want to do things that are fun and interesting and have an impact.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people get that opportunity. And I think we have that opportunity now, and it's really beautiful. And I'm glad that we can still keep doing this.
Amazing. Yes. What can you speak to the team 2 years ago and the team now?
So I'm really obsessed with the team that I have now. Like, I'm extremely obsessed.
Shout out to the team at Selar.
Although, like, the team from 2 years ago is actually still the same team now. We just have more people. So interestingly, this week was filled with like a lot of like one-on-ones, like at Selar, just because like we have our annual reviews and we do like our yearly raises. And most of the employees that I have, everyone is like their third, their fourth year. And I realized like, and it's dawning on me that like our turnover rate is really, really like low.
Nice.
At most, I fire people actually, then they leave.
Yeah.
And that's really beautiful. So the team from 2 years ago is still the same team now. I think the beauty is we have more amazing people. And probably, I mean, I'm still stressed, but like with more people doing more amazing stuff, I get to be less stressed. Right. I had my best set of engineers in the last 2 months, and I'm really excited because like the girls are working, and it's really nice. Yes.
So in terms of hiring, are you active in the process?
Not right now, but not right now. I feel like I'm done.
Yes. Then what did you used to look out for in a new hire?
I was speaking to somebody about this yesterday, actually. Just the idea of like, because we're a completely remote team. We don't have an office. We've always been remote. I can't afford an office in Lagos. I can't.
You probably can now.
I can't. No, actually, you still can't.
Really?
I don't know. Actually, I haven't checked. But like,
Lagos real estate is overpriced.
Like, don't get me started on that. Like, that is like, I have beef with Lagos real estate people, but it's just expensive to have an office. But also, I think I'm also just hyper aware of like commute stress. And also, there's something about having an office that means you have to hire people that can come to that office. And that's not good, actually.
Right.
Because like the beauty of being remote is like you can just hire from anywhere. Like I have employees in...
You're not limited.
I think...
Or restricted.
Half or more than half, 3/4 of the engineering team is in Abuja.
Wow.
Which is it's just very random that like I have found I found more engineers in Abuja than I have in Lagos. But most of them are in Abuja. I do have other like colleagues in Abuja. Interesting, I think, is maybe most of the marketing team that's in Lagos.
Okay.
I have people that are in Uyo. I have people that are in Port Harcourt.
Wow.
There's also I have a lot of people in Ibadan actually.
Oh, nice.
And maybe like one or two in Ilorin.
And that's that diversity that a company should strive for, right?
Yes. And I feel like when you do have an office, you're forced to, like, when you get a list of candidates, first of all, I guess most of the good people that are not in Lagos will probably not come. And then you're forced to pick from that selection. Exactly, and the beauty is now we don't get to. But just speaking of hiring, I think, for me, I think something that I've realized is it's good to hire people that want to do the work.
But how can you tell, though?
You can always just tell, actually.
Really?
I don't know, but you can always just tell.
Maybe it's a superpower.
I doubt it. I think it's very clear. People that want to work, like, it shows. Maybe I have an innate sense. I doubt it's that specialist skill. But for me, I think what's really been helpful is, I think at the beginning I thought and the beauty is, I think now we can afford to hire more people, just hire people that we have a better budget, slightly better budget. Still not like VC budget money, but like still better budget. But like, I think the best filter for me has just been people that are excited to work and are ready to work and have the energy to work. It's a very big differentiator, actually. And it really stops a lot of nonsense.
Right, it does.
Because there are so many problems that I I don't have to deal with. Like I think I was speaking to somebody sometime in December, and they were telling me about like they had to like get an office, they had to like start getting people to work just because they couldn't really make remote work.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, first of all, I'm not going to an
Can't even
office.
relate to that.
I'm not even going to an office right now in my life. I'm not leaving my house.
Yeah.
But also, like, I mean, people don't work for people don't do work that they're meant to do for many reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, somebody that wants to actually work and contribute and do great work, and that's what they want to do. There's so many issues that you wouldn't have with them, and I think that's my metric so far.
That makes perfect sense. You had mentioned something about VC money. We're going to come to that, but before then, let's dive into Selar.
Okay.
Now you have creators that come on your platform, right, to sell digital products. Does Selar have any part in terms of what they put up there? Maybe,
No. Well, we do have so we have a TNC that we do have maybe prohibited products. Maybe one that would stand out is just like you can't sell porn, and that's even just more of Nigeria's law than it is ours. So we do have a list of like prohibited things that you really just can't sell, but we don't try to like vet products like it's too much.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. What of in terms of quality assurance? Do you think some products shouldn't be on there?
No, because quality is very subjective.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's very subjective. Yes, so it's hard to do that. It's not very smart to do that.
Makes perfect sense.
Because you in your high shoulder, you're like, oh no, this doesn't make sense, but it's like that's what people want to sell, and that's what people want to buy, and no, we're not going to do that.
That makes perfect sense. So now VC money, you guys are 100% bootstrapped.
Okay.
And you've
we've gotten some grants. Like last year, we got a 50K grant.
Oh, nice.
It was really nice. And Tony Lemon gave us, I guess, a 5K in 2018.
Nice. But then it still doesn't fit into the typical VC money kind of window.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you've done this for
9 years.
9 years. Like, wow. 100% bootstrap. Not many, I mean, the statistics say that 90% of startups fail in their first 5 years. Some, even after reasons, still fail.
Yes.
Which is very impressive that you guys have been able to accomplish this much being bootstrapped. First off, congratulations to you and the team.
No, thank you.
And in the future, are you looking to raise?
Not right now. No, not in the foreseeable future, actually. So I think interestingly, like the goal for this year is we're trying to take some big swings, big steps. Yeah. And I think interestingly, the goal is that if we raise money today, what would we use that money for? And what are the different areas in which that would go to? Yeah. Pull out the money in the bank and let's do it. That's what this year is about. Yeah. And that's what we're doing.
That's fantastic.
So whether it's with hiring, with marketing, with campaigns and all those things. So that's that. Yeah.
So in terms of challenges, both internally and externally, can you speak to what Selar has been experiencing?
I don't know how to answer that question. It's not very specific. It's it's not that specific to me. Challenges are just, again, very subjective. Somebody might be stressing about A, and it's just not a problem to me.
Another person.
So I don't have a good answer for that right now.
Okay.
Maybe we'll circle back to that.
That makes perfect sense. So what have you enjoyed the most about running a company?
Ooh. This is the perfect time to ask me this again, because we had a week of one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite thing is giving people more money.
Wow.
So the thing is, I think my favorite time of the month is salary time.
Please hire me.
So my favorite time of the month is salary time. I think obviously we're very privileged and it's beautiful that we make enough money to pay everybody.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that so salary time is a period where I'm really excited. Let's get the people paid.
Yeah.
But also I think something I've really enjoyed this week is speaking to a lot of people. So we have over 30 people on the team now. Wow. So I'm speaking to 30 something people. Oh, nice. That was a lot.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful getting to, because there's something about work that if you're leading a team of people, especially just as a remote team, you're just hey, where are the designs? Hey, where's the code?
Yes.
Hey, reply to customer.
Yeah.
And I think it was beautiful and I mean, we do have a segment so we have Monday meetings
Yeah.
by 10, and we have a segment where we kind of ask a trivia question. And that's really a wonderful time that we've gotten to get a sense of just different people and different things, different interests of different people and of everybody on the team. And it's really nice. But I got to just speak to people people have so much going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to get married.
Really? Wow.
But not a lot of people want to
Wow.
get married. But
Yes.
it was beautiful hearing a lot of just what people care about, what's going on in people's lives right now, where they are right now, and then
And how the company is helping them achieve their
Yes.
goals. Yeah.
I'm like looking at the spreadsheet, like what are the numbers this week?
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to someone and they're just telling me how transformational the job has been for them in the last 3 years, how much growth they've gotten, how much it's impacted their worldview and and I'm just like, oh, okay.
I'm doing all of this like
All of this is
Yes.
happening and all the ways in which maybe our culture is influencing them. And I'm like, oh, this is a real company.
That's amazing.
But I think I also just love being able to pay people as much as we can, see joy on their faces. I think that's probably my best part of the job.
That is so fantastic.
I love money.
So we all do love money.
Yeah.
So, but the culture that you mentioned just now, I know some companies struggle to build or hone their culture, especially when they work remotely.
Yes.
Right. That's why they encourage coming to the office a few times a week, just bond, because they feel it's better. You can build deeper bonds when the person is physically present with you.
Yes, I feel like the people in Lagos kind of have a closer relationship.
Okay, nice.
Because they meet, especially the marketing, because they meet for shoots, they connect. So
that makes perfect.
That is true.
That
but
makes perfect sense. So, how has Selar been able to achieve this while working 100% remotely? I mean, it's blowing my mind.
So, I was thinking about something in this direction, and I think I realized. Yeah, and I think this is a normal thing for everyone, but I guess, think differently when you feel like something is not an option.
Okay.
And what I'm getting to is, I have always run this company from the get-go, there's never going to be an office. No, there will be an office at some point where people can come in. That's not what I mean. I mean, I've always run this team we're all going to work remotely. I think it's never going to be on site to supervise people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I just spoke into the mic. And I think that really created completely different mindsets.
Okay.
Because when shit is going bad, I'm never thinking, maybe we're in an office, this will be different.
Yeah.
It's never an option.
Wow.
One has to completely think about everything else other than that.
Other than that, yeah.
And I think so, and that has its perks, and then it has its obviously its bad sides. But and I think what that means is we have to think of how we're going to move as a company, how we're going to do things as a company remotely. And I think one thing that people say, which I think is very true, is culture is very much an extension of the founder.
Right.
And I think on my part, I have really tried to emulate the kind of company I want to see from myself, starting from myself, in just as many ways in which I can. And I really do think that I think it's playing out a little well.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. So you have, I think if I got this number correctly, about 1 million plus creators on Selar at the moment.
Oh, no. So we have over 1.5 million registered people. So just people that registered to use the product. So whether it's creators, creator customers, affiliates. However, creators, I think we call a creator someone that has uploaded at least one product.
Okay.
And then we have 250K of those.
Oh, nice. So that's a significant number.
Yes.
How do you make each creator feel special?
That's not my job. Okay, it's actually really not my job.
Yes.
It's really not my job. Just because we build a platform that helps you sell, and we're not responsible for promoting you.
Okay.
You're responsible for promoting yourself. However, if I were to answer that question in a completely different way, I would say that I make creators feel special because I try to give them everything that they want to be the best kind of creator that they can be. But
That
yeah,
makes
but I
sense.
guess the original way in which I thought you made the question was like maybe how to promote them,
No.
and I'm like, no, that's not my job.
Yes. So you work remotely 100%.
Yes.
And I know many remote workers struggle to switch off for the day and say, maybe a typical 9 to 5. By 5, I'm out of my workstation and I'm living the rest of my life. You spend the rest of my day living my actual life.
Yeah.
So how do you find that balance?
So again, this is like a no. This is not the best way to ask this question because I feel like I've gone to bed by 12
Yeah.
every day this week,
Yeah.
or like 11 or something.
Wow.
But and sort of related to this is just I mean I guess the question is sort of also just about balance. I think so. My perspective of balance.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I was speaking to somebody this week, and they also said that's also just how they roll. Where it's like their perspective, like my perspective of balance is there will be intense weeks,
Yeah.
and then there will just be chill weeks. So yeah, there'll be weeks like this where I'm sleeping by 12 and this might run till like Saturday or even Sunday, just because then I have some consultants that I probably
Yeah.
work with over the weekend, and that's when they're available. And there'll be like weeks where I'm chill. So
Each week is kind of like different, so to say.
each week is different, and like they usually balance out if you let it. So before, I think what I used to do was, before you have all these very intense weeks, and then the
Yeah.
weeks where you're chilling, you're like beating yourself up
What am I-
about the,
I'm-
like oh my
I'm
god, I'm
slacking,
wasting my
yes.
life. But like now I don't do that anymore. So
Okay,
now
okay.
now I don't do that anymore, and I try to. There will be those weeks, and then and then the weeks will be chill.
Amazing. Amazing. Final question. Advice to aspiring founders. What do you think has worked for you that you feel if people that are looking to build something here or know about, it will make their own journey easier, sort of? Take your
I don't know. Like, I feel like I want to give an advice that like
Yeah.
might not really apply.
Aspire
Because-
to Maguire.
No. Because what I really want to say is buy yourself as much comfort as you can. And I feel like that doesn't apply to a lot of people. But for me,
Yeah.
I don't know how to work when I'm broke.
Okay.
Like some people, like maybe like when they're broke, like they are motivated to
Yes,
like grind,
I
and I'm
must
just
be
like,
here. Hell no.
moments where I'm broke, like I'm just like, girl, don't stress me. But try to buy yourself as much comfort
Yeah.
as you can, and try to have as much fun as you can.
Okay.
Because I don't know what will be driving you. I mean, I care about like our users.
Yeah.
It's important to me that like the customers are having a good time, because I mean, we are a very customer centric
Yeah.
company. But I guess it also helps that that's stuff that generally makes me happy.
Yeah.
And if they're happy, I'm usually just happy.
Happy.
By default. But so far, I think in this journey, and the thing is, I've had very, very chaotic like experiences that have like things have happened like at work. Like there's been there've been losses, there've been this, there've been that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess I am aware that, but I'm still happy to do this work. For me, it's still something that I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I get to build. I'm happy that I get to make money. I'm happy, and I think for the longest time, again, we were just I was doing this and just building without the money or monetary returns, and I was doing all of it because I wanted to do it. I love to build stuff. I love to build stuff. I love to see people using stuff that I built. I love to all of these things, all of the different things. And I guess it does help to be very obsessive about whatever you're doing. Because on the days where like the things are not
Working out
that
as you
shiny,
would like,
or you're not feeling that rewarded, like your obsession about something will, that doesn't
up for
actually
those
feel
days,
like good advice.
No, it does actually, because I mean, you're your own, should I say, motivator,
Yes.
right? Especially if that idea is yours.
Yes.
If your motivation is low constantly, I think it will trickle down to your team as well.
Yes.
So at some point, you should motivate yourself.
Yes.
So be obsessive about what you're building.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely. Thanks so much for doing this with us, Douglas.
Thank you. No, thank you, Samuel. Thanks for inviting me. I did have a really lovely time. I hope this comes out really well. I hope
Yeah.
your audience likes it.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
let's see how it goes.
Definitely. And we'll be having, so we started like a live show last year, December.
Okay.
And we had Mr. Gbenga Onitilo rather, former VP of Waka now. We had Price Pali on the show. We are thinking of doing another in like April-ish.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll be down. So rather than us editing, it's going to be happening live.
Live.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might not be in town in April.
okay,
I
yeah.
might not be in town.
Yeah.
I don't know what my schedule is.
All right.
But we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
can always just ask me.
Thank you
And then
very
we'll see how to
much.
make it work. Where did you have it the last time?
In December, here.
No, where?
The other room you were in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Room you were in. Yeah.
Interesting.
Why do you ask though?
No, I thought so when I had live, I thought live with live
an open
audience.
space. Yeah. There was actually a few of our, should I say, most faithful or loyal listeners here. So, but we plan to make
Where did
it
they sit?
downstairs, on the other end here.
Okay.
They were like just four.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So, but this time we plan to do
very
it
intimate,
downstairs.
very- okay.
Yeah, and then have more people come in because we had to limit who was available because the space was not so. Yeah. All right.
Okay. I guess we'll see.
All right. That's been it on this week's episode of the Made in Africa.
Oh my God, that was
podcast.
recorded.
No, we can. We can cut
No,
that out.
it's fine. You can keep it.
All right. That's been it on this week's episode of the Made in Africa podcast. You've been listening to Douglas Kendyson, co-founder and CEO of Selar. I'm your host, Kemeshi Samuel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.